have been bundled out for 40 or 45. Well, you are grossly mistaken here because Devon Conway alone has outscored the entire Indian innings. His 50 and a very solid opening partnership with Tom Latham has ensured that New Zealand have taken a lead in excess of 36 runs. 36 runs currently is the lead heading into the tea break that we have got. 82 for 1. And India's bowlers have been guilty of not bowling the right lengths. Either they were too full or they were too short. Yeah. Whatever swing was on offer, it dried up with the sun now absolutely beating down at the Chinnaswamy Stadium. You can say that if only, if only India had applied themselves and weathered out that storm, India could very well still have been batting at this stage. But no, India had to be bundled out for 46, which is the lowest total that we have had in Indian cricket's history at home. Yeah. So another session won by New Zealand, and it looks as if India's pain is only going to mount, Sid, isn't it?
And I think we have to credit the New Zealand batters here because of the way they began the innings. You look at someone like a Tom Latham also, although he scored around 15 odd, but then, he weathered the early storm, which was obviously the need of the hour for the Kiwi team here because Bumrah and Siraj, well, let's make no mistake about it. They began the bowling innings very well for India. They were getting the ball to move a lot. There were a few edges also. But then, if there's one thing that the New Zealand batters did right, I think they played with very soft hands, something that the Indian batters couldn't really do.
And so that's closer to the body.
And closer to the body also because, even if, there were a few outside edges also, well, they did not really fly to the slip cordon apart from just one, wherein KL Rahul completely misjudged it and India lost that chance to have a breakthrough. But then overall, I think it has to be, credit has to be given to the New Zealand batters here because at the very same time, they are not really under any kind of pressure at all. They currently lead by 36 and things are looking pretty okay here. Well, if there's one thing that actually caught my eye here was that the ball is actually keeping a little low. There is some kind of invariable bounce. So there's a shade of an invariable bounce that might just, go on to be a lot more as the match progresses. So all I think eyes would be on Kuldeep Yadav. Well, had it not been for India's batting failure, I think Kuldeep's selection would have made a lot of sense. But currently, it does not really, make so.
I mean, look at the situation here. I think Jadeja hasn't come on to bowl.
No.
Ashwin has been bowling, but he's not been able to create that much of chances. I mean, he was either too full. And Devon Conway, you could see, he was negotiating quite easily. He drove well through the offside. Siraj, in particular, I think missed the opportunity the most because he was either too full or he was just straying onto the pads far more. Kuldeep, yes, over-pitched occasion. I mean, the second last over, I think, before tea, Kuldeep bowled a very full delivery and Will Young drove in through the covers.
Yes.
India can't afford New Zealand to be well over 150 runs by the close of the day with only 2 or 3 wickets lost. Because if that happens, then I think India are playing a big-time catch-up in this entire test match. Because the weather on day 3 is not looking promising.
Yes.
And also the weather on day 5, if I'm not mistaken, is also not looking very promising.
But then also, thunderstorms were predicted at around 11 or 12 p.m. Today also. It did not really happen. So one can only hope that, the weather stays clear so that, there can be a full game. But at the very same time, if there's anything that can save India apart from a brilliant batting show in the second innings or a New Zealand collapse, from here on, it's rain.
The Indian team will be watching a lot of Lagan today. If they want to hope for rain and nothing else, this is a really bad situation for India. And as I mentioned, even when the team were bowled out in the innings break, India's chances of winning the match are next to impossible at this stage, provided they lose the next 9 wickets for some 40 runs.
True.
Which I think is not happening because the nature of the wicket is looking very good.
Yes.
It's looking placid with the sun beating down. Whatever moisture, whatever help that was there of the wicket is now gone.
True.
Okay. The problem that you're looking at it is with all the moisture gone, your pace bowlers might struggle a bit, and that is where I think maybe you needed a third pacer.
Yes.
Now we all know
maybe or surely.
Now it may, after the end of the test match, surely they will say.
Yeah.
But maybe when the toss and the selection was made, you made the decision. So no point crying over spilt milk at this case because spinners will have to shoulder a heavy workload. But in the New Zealand case, you saw perhaps in the second innings they may face what India are looking at it now, because if this pitch has to crumble, in New Zealand have got only three spinners at max:
Yeah.
Phillips, Ajaz Patel, and Rachin Ravindra.
Yeah.
On top of that, maybe the Pacers then will not have that much of a play. But then Saudi, if you remember Sid, that three-quarter seam that he bowls, that
Yes.
he might get a lot of assistance from the wicket if it's rough. So
Yes.
the pitch as of now, day 2 and day 3, New Zealand have gotten the best batting conditions. As I said, it's been given to them on a platter. You want to win Bangalore? Go ahead, win it. It will take something drastic from New Zealand to ensure they squander the advantage. So, as I mentioned in one of the videos which will be up very shortly, the only team that has probably won in the modern era after being bundled out for 70 or less, 67, was England, 2019 Ashes, when Ben Stokes did that miracle. So we now have the final session coming up at 3:15 to 5:15, remember, is the session that will be there. If any extension is possible, maybe another 15 minutes of plays there. But then already, I mean, one of our family members pointed it out. Sportsman is saying, don't be so optimistic. This match is already done and dusted. We are far behind. Maybe Sportsman. Abhay Pratap Singh, ouch. All ducks are standing in the slip cordon. Yeah, there was Rohit, there was Virat, there was KL. Except for Pant, who's the keeper.
That's very harsh to say.
That's very, very harsh.
We can look at it here. Some comments.
Yeah. So, Vedant Bikash Barua saying, cricket is such a great equalizer. It felt like the team couldn't do any wrong just a week back. Now suddenly all the worries about our batters against the moving ball has come into the equation.
Yeah.
So it's really looking tough for India at this stage. And now the team composition, the next point where you can hammer the nail down that, yep, you got it wrong here also. That might haunt India. Because batters failed. Bowlers so far have ensured that 82 runs have been scored at a run rate of 4. 20 overs have been bowled. So 82 for 1, and it's panic stations.
Yeah. Freaking Awesome has a comment that your bowlers can't help much when the other department failed you miserably. So hard to recover from this.
Correct.
Absolutely.
And Piyush Nandre is channeling his inner Mohammad Rafi unit, because he's like, Kale mega, pani to barsa. Now, boss, jo hona tha wo ho gaya. Whatever has to happen, day 3 maybe it might happen, day 4 maybe, but day 4 is better. Day 5, I don't know. Predicting Bangalore weather, good luck. Good luck, because it's very, very fickle. So
true. One more, I think, comment from Piyush Nandre that here a player like Hardik Pandya would have made a great difference. I think he's talking about his hitting skills.
Come on. See, again, we look back, oh, that guy would have made the difference. This guy would have made the difference. The present is that you've not been without Hardik Pandya for 5 years now.
Yeah.
5 saal ho gaye. Move on. I know people in India cannot move on because we are all very emotional people. But 5 years, you can't, and which is why I said, see, if he had come back in Test cricket, the utility that he offers is awesome.
Absolutely.
But suddenly, without any first-class experience, just because he had a couple of red ball sessions in some particular garden county in England, doesn't mean that he's going to be ready for the grind of the BGT. Test cricket is Test cricket; it's serious business. So,
what about people saying that Mayank also should be taken? There's no Test cricket experience for him.
I mean, I don't know what is the, like Harshit is asking, why no Mayank Yadav? I mean,
no, that's not my question. People are asking.
People are asking. He's the people's voice at this stage. He's saying always,
Voice of the voiceless.
Voice of the voiceless, indeed.
Path has a comment. KL looks so underconfident that it feels he's having his debut game every time he steps onto the field.
Well, the debut game was not good for KL Rahul.
Yeah.
He had only 3 and 1, but in second game he notched up 100 in Sydney. So KL Rahul, it's so far been a woeful test match at home for him. I mean, imagine the home crowd giving it back to you. And KL Rahul, I predict, is coming back home to RCB in this IPL 2020 option.
Even I feel so.
He's not getting a good outing at this stage because out for 0, catch missed. So
let's see. We still have second innings.
We still have the second innings. We hope that KL Rahul can step up.
This is where Gambhir's experience of saving that match in Napier might just be handy for the Indian team.
But that New Zealand bowling was pretty ordinary,
and that pitch was very flat.
Very flat.
And India batted 176 overs.
Yeah, I mean, you had. I mean, there was only one good bowler in that lineup, and that was Ian O'Brien.
Yeah.
And India were lucky to get out of jail.
You had Jeetan Patel also at that time. Obviously, a great performance by India. never easy to bat 2 days, but then that would even here also in Bangalore, that's the kind of effort that would be
I mean,
required.
look at it. In 2002, it was Shane Bond, Daryl Tuffy. They were all
Oh,
bowling. India were clueless against them. But here it was Ian O'Brien. I mean, no disrespect to Ian O'Brien.
Yeah.
Fantastic bowler.
true, he was.
But there was no other stalwart who could have backed them up. And that's why I think Franklin also was in that test match. James
Franklin was there.
only Vettori.
Yeah.
Only Vettori was a top class bowler at that stage. So, yeah, it's a very grim scenario for India at this stage. I mean, people told me to stop being optimistic. I can be a bit optimistic about saving the test match provided rain plays a part.
Yes, provided.
Provided. That's why. So don't take this clip out of context and say, oh, so it is being delusional. No. If rain stays, you can save a test match. So in that way, that is the current. Any other further
Pretty
comments
much about it.
Priyanshu saying, my larger concern is our batting.
Yes,
Looks
it
very
does.
fragile. Some are past their prime, some are yet to hit their prime. Who are past their prime, Priyanshu? Can you please tell us that?
And who
We'll
are
be
yet
very
to
happy
hit
to
their
announce it out loud.
Yeah, true.
Okay, so that is
That's
the
about
way.
it. What do you think? What would be the final session look like?
India will have to take at least 3 to 4 wickets.
What's your prediction?
I think New Zealand are crossing the lead mark of 130 by the end of the day, because right now it is 36, right?
Yeah.
Another 96 more runs in the final session, extended final session,
Yeah.
can happen. So
Pretty much the same for me. Another 100 odd runs in the final session with the loss of one wicket.
yeah, so that is Piyush Tandre as a Maharashtrian, he is saying that So after this match, New Zealand is coming to Maharashtra for 2 matches. Election fever is full here and more interesting than cricket match. So much action next 30 days in Maharashtra. Jaya Jaya Maharashtra Maza, indeed. So that is how it is. Piyush Tandre, I'll also be keeping a close eye on it because I was born in the state of Maharashtra. So,
Nice.
bye bye from me and Sid Gulati. The final session is about to start pretty soon. India will be hoping to take at least 3 to 4 wickets or at least get them all out. That is best case scenario. I am looking at that too. So bye bye. See you for the post match at 5:15 where we are going to have an extended, very lengthy discussion. Total thorough analysis from me, Harshit, Gulati, Nikhil, all will be there. So don't miss that post match show which will happen at 5:15 p.m. IST. Bye bye.